Hi everyone, another day, another video. I hope to keep up some cheer in these days that we are all in lockdown, and I'm going to do something again with paper napkins, or better yet, with the backings of a paper napkin. I love it to do a background. Now, I watched one of Barb Owen's live streams, and if you don't know Barb Owen, then you've got to go and check her channel. And she used two fabrics, scraps of fabrics, in one of her latest videos, and I was just I liked those two fabrics so much, I just had to do something similar. And she had two very deep red fabrics, with one with sunflowers and one with colorful stars, and I just had to, it just inspired me to do a page, and I'm going to use as background this piece of backing that I already dyed, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing it. If you just stumbled upon my channel, you probably don't know how I make this. I have a stack of them. I'm always dyeing the plies that are left from using paper napkins. So for right now, I'm moving this aside. I'll be working on I will do this page in this mixed media paper notebook, but for now I just want to show you first how I'm preparing the backing of a paper napkin. So I'm just taking some plastic or whatever you have that you can lay your a paper napkin on, because you will want to remove it once it's dyed and wet. That's the only way you can lift it and move it until it's dry. So I've used these sprays that I make from gel food coloring. Just a few drops of gel food coloring with water, and there is no recipe. The more gel food coloring, the more intense the color. Now, if you can't get your hands on gel food coloring, you can also use the powder that is used for textile dye. Now, I'm using this kind of things because we don't have brochures, and we don't have magicals and all those stuff. So that's my way of doing it. So I just spray randomly, and I use the two plies because I always get another dyed effect on the bottom one that is really lovely. So I have this very deep red, and I'm just playing with it until I like what I've got. And this is orange. You can start with a little bit and add as you go until you are satisfied with what you have. Yeah, so that's how I made this one. And the great thing about it is they never turn the same way, and the more wrinkles, the more like batik it will look. So moving this aside, now I want to make my background, and I've already showed you, like here in one of my videos, that I tend to stamp first and then glue the paper napkin, because then I have more texture, visualize a texture. But this time I think that I will just adhere this paper napkin to my page, and I'll just trim a little bit. I'll do it better once it will be dry, but right now I'm just removing this, and this will probably go, and I will make tags with it. And so now I'm going to try and adhere the paper napkin with a glue stick, because I don't want to wait a long time for everything to dry. Usually I will use just white glue with a little bit of water, because it's easier on the paper napkin. But as I said, I'm going to try and just put some glue stick, and I need to be very generous about it, at least now that I want it to stick. And afterwards I can go on top of the paper napkin and put white glue. Right now I'm just being very generous with the glue stick. So putting it down, don't care about wrinkles. Wrinkles are great. I love wrinkles. It just adds to the whole thing. Wrinkles, here we go, and everything is stuck and in place. Yeah, I can even smooth in several places if I want to. Now I will go over this with a white glue, because I want to seal it and to make sure that it's in place and won't move, or if it's not stuck good enough to my page. So let's see. I've got this background, and maybe now I will stamp a little bit just to add something to the mix. I am planning on doing some colorful stars, like I told you that that I've seen on that fabric that gave me the inspiration. But maybe just a little bit. Let's see. I'm looking for a background stamp, something that won't overwhelm my page. Here we go. I've got this one. I've got Memento Tuxedo Black, which is a permanent ink pad, and I'm quite randomly adding some of this. Yeah, really random. A little bit here I want, don't know why, just want it there. And yeah, very subtle in the background, nothing overwhelming. So I'm going to put some white glue on top. The white glue is with a little bit of water. Again, it's just easier on the paper napkin. I want it to slide and not drag the paper napkin. I'm using this sponge brush. I'm hoping that I will have a nice coat of glue without puddles, and again that it won't take too long to dry. I'm being gentle with it. Again, sliding, not dragging. And sometimes as you go and put this, here I tore the paper napkin. Let's see if I have something softer. Where are all the brushes that I usually use? So sometimes as you go and put the wet stuff, the white glue on top, you will have air bubbles. The only thing you do is just work patiently with the flat of the brush and flatten it. That's the only thing to do. Yeah, let's see if I covered everything. I can't see right now. It's very grayish today outside, not enough sun, not enough light. Okay, so moving this aside, this needs to dry, and moving on. So I want a part of a big sunflower on my page, and for that I'm going to again use my stash, and I'm thinking of going with this kind of color. And here we go, another one and another one. So all fine and dandy, but when you want to do some designed element on your page, and I already have a quite dark background, although it's red, if I will put something like this or like this directly on it, it will just disappear. You will not see it, because it's a paper napkin, and it's flimsy and it has transparency. So when I want to do something on top and that it will show, I'm just taking some kind of a cardstock that will be easier to just leftover of some scrapbook paper, ugly ones that I just use the back for this kind of things. And what I will do, I'll just take the pieces that I want, I will glue it to it, and then I could cut whatever I want and do my sunflower. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue these pieces, so I will have, here go, another small piece, but again it will work for me. So just gluing down these pieces. So again, I'm just taking plain white glue that I added a little bit of water so it won't be thick. Here we go. Really doesn't matter, again, wrinkles, whatever, just working with this. And I'm going to go over it, but let's just put more pieces in place. So I'm going to cut from this the petals for my sunflower, the one that I'm planning on. And here is another piece. Maybe it's a little bit too dark, I think, so maybe I'll take more of a yellow. Yeah, I think that's what I will glue here. Really doesn't matter. As I said, it's just the backing of paper napkins. Do whatever you want. So I'm going to go over it with the white glue, and I'm going to wait for this to dry. Also, I'm moving on for this is going to be for the sunflower. And as I told you, I want some stars in the background. So I don't have little stars, a stamp of little stars. What I am going to do, this is a craft foam, and it has this peeling paper in the back, and it has adhesive, so it's easier to work with it because I can just glue it to any kind of surface, and I will have a stamp. So I'm thinking of doing some little stars like this. As you can see there, I'm not measuring anything, it's quite freehand. Whatever will will be. Just little stars that I want to make into a stamp. So they are quite little, quite small, and where is, here it is. So I'm going to use a nail scissors to cut them, just easier. When I have something with curves or it's small like this, I will use this kind of scissors, just easier to control. This kind of craft foam I find in kids craft supplies most of the time. And it's just a great material to making stamps. So all I need to do is just take even a piece of cardboard, whatever you have, and attach it to it, and I will have a stamp. So I want a stamp that will have several stars, so I won't have to work with only one. I can stamp several at the same time. So I'm just cutting out, whatever. The stars. You can even attach it to another piece of craft foam. It doesn't have to be a cardboard, just whatever you want. If you attach it to something like this, like craft foam, then it will be, sometimes it's even better because it's flexible, and then when you want to stamp it on, like if you have this kind of a journal and you want to stamp where the spiral is, then it's easier because it's flexible and you can move it as you want. So it's good in that aspect. Basically, do whatever is easier for you. So again, I have to cut all these stars and wait for all the other things to dry. So I'm going to come back when for the next stage. I'll be back. I'm back. So background is dry. I've got this dry to make the petals, and I wanted something for the inside of my supposedly sunflower. So I went through my stashes and found this piece of paper that I think will work nicely because I have all these yellows, and I've got this purple and I don't know, magenta that will work with this. So I'm going to make the center of my sunflower from this. I just took this is a plastic plate, and I want to take I've marked it so I will know how to the size I want to take out of this, and I'll just flip it and mark it so it would be easier. It doesn't have to be very precise, it just helps me decide on the size and where to cut. So here is the center of my sunflower, and I'm quite in the mood for a whimsical lately. We have enough doom and gloom, so that's what's going on. Very bright colors, very whimsical thing. And again, I'm just going to use a glue stick very generously. And here we go. Center. Don't know if it will hold because I have texture from the paper napkin, but good enough. So I've got this to make my petals. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to mark some petals to cut, and I really don't care where it goes. It's quite random, and I don't want them the same. Whatever will be, will be. I think that's the best to go about it, at least for me. So just like so. And I'm even thinking, if I'm all whimsical, maybe let it stick out of the edges of the page. We'll see. Right now I just need to make enough petals for this sunflower, and I haven't put this one near this one because they are from the same place on the paper napkin, and I would like variation in the color. So I can go now and do here some petals because I wanted each petal to be different than the other. I'm also thinking now that maybe I will stamp them with something to make them more interesting and more unique, each one. We'll see. So just so you will see what I'm talking about, that each one will be different. So here I've got another color that can go here. It's very loosely done, like so. Now let's see, I'm thinking, as I said, of stamping them. Let's take one and try and see if it's interesting or just not working. Let's see. I've got all kinds of texture stamps, and let's see. I'm thinking, let's start with this. It doesn't stick to the acrylic block anymore, so I'm just putting a little bit of the glue stick like this. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Let's take one petal so you will see what I'm trying to do. And yeah, it is interesting. And yeah, I think each one of the petals will get or maybe 2 of each kind, like 2 with dots, 2 with something else from this. So I'm going to continue just cutting petals, and then I'll come back. I'm back. So it's a good thing that I've glued this down only with a glue stick, because when I came to put the petals on, I realized I wanted to stick them underneath, so I peeled it very gently, stuck the petals, and here we go, and just glued it again. And I wanted to make this a little bit more noticeable, so I'm just going with this permanent marker and giving very loose definition, and also here, and I want it to look very, very loose. So I'm just going over like this, and I'm going back and forth on purpose, so it will look very much like a doodle, or just, I don't know how to call it. I'm even thinking of adding some doodles inside here, but not right now. I am not sure about it yet. What I do want is to add now the stars to my page. I've got yellow, red and blue. I don't know how much the red will show on this background, but nonetheless I'm going to try. And I'm just putting a little bit of the acrylic paint on my stars, and yeah, I already know that I'm going to take some permanent black pen and go over, just to make them more visible, and I'm stamping them quite randomly. Yeah. Moving on to the red. Yeah. It works. Again, random, and I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to move to the blue and do the same thing, and then I'm just going to go around the edges of the stars with, as I said, a permanent black marker, just to give them a little bit more definition. And I'm going to do it off camera. I'm losing time on my camera. I can only do about 30 minutes. So I need to figure things that I can do off camera, and you won't lose essential information. So I'm going to come back. Okay, I'm back. So stamped my stars, went around them with this permanent marker that I've used here, and this acrylic marker by Zig, and they didn't turn out as great as I thought they will, but they are not the main point of the page, so I'm quite satisfied with what I have. And I wanted to have the word smile here, and I have this adhesive stencil, so I just put it on a piece of paper like this, and went with a black permanent marker to make it. So I've got this, and it's very stark white and doesn't go with my page, so I'm going to do something about it. And another thing, I wanted to make some shading and couldn't find something that won't be wet. I have gelatos, but I didn't have a color that I liked, and I tried to figure out what I can use, and then I remembered I have this wax, don't know what to call them. I have made a tutorial how to do this. This is made from coconut oil and oil pastels that I've melted together, and then I have something that is like a gilding wax, only homemade, and it's not expensive. So I just melted several metallic oil pastels with coconut oil, and that's what I have, and I have them for a long time, and they just keep, so that's great for me. So I went just with my finger like this and added a little bit of shading, and now I'm thinking maybe to the petals, so I took some brush, and I'm going to add some shading to my petals like so. So I wanted something that is not wet. I've got too much here to try and add something wet to the mix. Didn't want all of this is made from the paper napkins, so that gave me this idea, and I'm quite satisfied with it. Just wanted more emphasize and less flat look to what I've got here. And I'm thinking that I will use maybe this or maybe the gold to go here, so again it won't be stark white and will correspond with the rest of my page. Okay, so let's see, let's hope it will look okay. I'm going to do it very, very gently, and I hope I'm in frame. Now I'm dipping into the gold, and it's good that it mixes nicely. What's not good that it's not the black now from the permanent marker is not is muted now, but we'll see. I know there are all kinds of ways I could use some ink pads, but that's what came to my mind, and that's the exact color that I wanted, so I'm quite at peace with it. Let's see if I can take, because this is oily, let's see, waxy, oily, whatever. if I can make yeah, it seems like I can. Not great, but so next time I will just pick something that is not white and just use the stencil on it and not the other way around. But it's just an art journal and it's for fun, so it really doesn't matter. I can also leave it as is and be done with it. Good enough for me. So just some glue in the back. Like so, and I am really hoping this will make you smile. It's a sunflower. Who doesn't smile at a sunflower? So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and thank you for leaving me comments below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.